silence every time we speak.
If you want to make music like Timbaland and Pharrell, I want you to watch this video because I'm going to break down simply how these guys were able to achieve that kind of a sound that they had. Of course, with few modifications here and there, me adding in my style of making music. So, the first theme that these people used was to create a groove in the sound. Okay, so the first part of the song was a kick, which is very simple to do. It started like this. Just like that. Simple as that. And then I added in a clap on top of the kick. A very simple pattern as well. Then had to put in a perk, which is like an additional sound that's kind of like, it's gonna help us create that groove that I was speaking about. Because right now you can already see that you're already bopping your head to it, but now when I add in the perks, it's gonna all make sense. It's gonna all come together. So this is how it all comes together with perks. Yeah, you could have freestyling on top of this, you know. So this was another perk that I added in. It kind of brought movement to the song as well, like an additional kick that was like in just moving in a different way, just adding to the groove. Okay, so that was all for the groove that I was trying to make. There was not much that I could do in that. So the next thing that I had to do was now create the chords. This is the most challenging part for me and for any producer who does not understand music theory. And I would never be the one to say, I discredit music theory, you don't need this. I feel like that's a lie because there's so much freedom with your artistry. There is so much autonomy that you have with your sound when you understand the theory behind this music stuff. You're going to learn how to build your chords properly. You're going to learn what sounds are off key and what sounds are on key, what sounds to use, you know? So I will never discredit music theory, but I say it's possible for you to make good music without music theory. Good music comes from you training your ears, you know? As listeners, we listen to you guys probably know what a good song and what a bad song is simply because of like the so many songs that you've listened to. And it's the same thing for us artists as well. We have listened to so many songs that you can now tell when you're singing off key. You can tell when some sound sounds concerning, like when you feel like this is not what would want the sound to be like. So you can use your intuition to actually make the chords that you build your songs on, or you can use your intuition to actually craft whatever sound that you're looking for. And I truly believe in that. That's why I don't think deeply about music theory. But if you stick around on the channel, I'm gonna get into content about learning music theory because I'm on that journey. I want to be the best musician I can possibly be, so I'm gonna go down that rail. So that being said, for this song I used very simple chords. I just used 2 notes. I didn't even use triads or any of the fancy things. So this is how it started out. This was like my simple chord progression. Yeah, so that was about that. Now, as I said, since the main emphasis with these kinds of beats is to create the groove, I decided to chop up the chords. And this is a technique that Timbaland and friends have actually used, where instead of having the chords just play around flat out the way they usually do, they would chop up the chords to kind of like the rhythm, to make it feel like there's some sort of dancing that's happening there, to kind of give you that energy to feel like you want to dance. So that's what I was trying to like do here. Okay, so that was a chord that was chopped up, and And just to give some sort of like low end energy to the song, I decided to add in a bass to it. And so it's a very simple bass. No, not that one. It was like a short stab kind of bass. It wasn't like a full bass. It was just like a stabby bass. So to add in texture and just make the song to personalize the song, I could say, adding in my sort of production skill in it. I like using my voice as an instrument in my beats or in my music in general. So I recorded my voice. This is my voice simply.
Da da da. Da da da. Da 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 da. 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 Da da da.
Okay, so let us talk about the bars that I was writing in this song, the lyrics. So I start out saying, I don't recognize myself. And I say that by talking to the mirror. I say, the mirror got a stranger looking back at me. You fell in love with a man I used to be. Kind of like when you look in the mirror, you don't recognize the guy you've become. And it's like your girl is in love with the man that you don't recognize anymore, you yourself. So that's what the main theme was. And then I talk about there is war outside. I could choose to express myself and be a problem, but I'm not putting everything out there. I'm deciding to keep all my pain to myself. I'm trying to keep everything to myself. So you know what usually happens when you're in an argument with someone else and you don't express yourself, you're not being honest with them, you keeping in the things that you're supposed to say. At some point you're gonna burst out and it's gonna be a mess. You're gonna be a problem in future. So that's what I was kind of like alluding to that point in the end, saying that the fact that I'm keeping in everything inside, it has me breaking down quietly. So war outside, but it shows the war within. Got me breaking down quietly. That's what I was trying to say. And then I go into the fight for no reason. Make me believe maybe you don't care about loving me. And the more interesting part of the song was when I use my voice again as an instrument. This is this part. You hear an instrument. This was me doing the same thing that I was explaining previously. I recorded my voice and then pitched it up and then added some effects. And it just came out to be really, really beautiful. I appreciate you for watching the video, and I hope you stick around because I'm going to be making these kinds of videos a lot more. I'm going to be making content about how to produce, how to make music, how I go about doing this thing. And I know it can be entertaining to just see the behind the scenes of how everything plays out. And that's how Timberland and friends have been making their music. And I'm pretty sure you learned something, a thing or two.